Murders in Paris. 3 November 1964. A young student-like Parisian left his room in the Rue Raymond-Losson in the 14th arrondissement. He had an urgent meeting at the Place de la Porte de Saint-Cloud to hand over a thick file to a friend. Robert Fenois was a former seminarian who worked with a group of young anti-modernist Catholics opposed to Vatican II and to the détente between the Church and the communist world. This group helped refugees from the Eastern Bloc. A number of them bore witness to the persecutions carried out in the communist regimes. Fenois reached the platform of the Duroc metro station. A rumbling sound announced the arrival of the next metro. The young man was waiting on the edge of the platform a good way from his immediate neighbors. But as the metro entered the station, a hand reached out to push him from behind. Fenois toppled over onto the rails and was hit by the metro. A woman screamed, and then a crowd gathered and commented on the accident. 2 witnesses declared to the station master that they'd seen an unknown man pushing their neighbor before fleeing. They were unable, however, to describe him with any accuracy. A priest then came up and disputed their version. He claimed that the unfortunate young man had thrown himself under the metro. The station master didn't know what to think. It was up to the police to deal with this affair. But in the meantime, the priest disappeared. The police had other priorities. The OAS was attacking Paris, and this needed almost all its efforts. The police station in the 7th arrondissement was totally snowed under and didn't have a single investigator available. The investigation only started a few days later. A search of Fenois' home enabled the police to find, in full view, a book dealing with suicide, in which some passages had been conveniently underlined. Case closed. Who was Fenois meeting on 3 November? With other members of his group, he was investigating the Pax organization from Poland, which had been developing its networks in France among the clergy and the Catholic hierarchy. Little by little, Fenois was building up a file of the priests who were in contact with the clandestine representatives of Pax in France. The man he was going to meet at the Place de Saint-Cloud was called Émile Bougère. Age 61, Bougère was a former communist. At the beginning of the 1930s, in the 20th arrondissement in Paris, he had been the first secretary of the Young Communists and then became a journalist with the daily L'Humanité. In 1934, he decided to quit the party and became an expert on anti-communism at the service of various municipalities and police forces. Joining the Parti Populaire Français, PPF, of Jacques Doriot in 1936, he became the publishing secretary of collaborationist publications and was one of the leaders of the Central Press Office of the PPF. Sentenced to 20 years' imprisonment at the Liberation, he was freed in 1951 and became a part-time assistant of Georges Albertini, the French anti-communist writer and publisher.